A bittersweet congregation more than 200 miles above the Earth when, for the last time, a space shuttle docked with the International Space Station. The crew of Space Shuttle Atlantis was greeted with hugs and handshakes when the hatches opened Sunday. Atlantis is carrying a year's worth of supplies to the ISS. Once Atlantis undocks and returns to Earth, the 30-year-old space shuttle program comes to an end. For more this morning, CBS News space consultant Bill Harwood joins us from the Johnson Space Center this morning in Houston. Bill, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning.
You know, many last-of-its-kind moments in space right now. What was the mood like when the International Space Station and that shuttle docked down to Mission Control?
You know, you're right. On this mission in particular, everything is a last. We had the last launch, the last rendezvous, the last docking. I spoke to a friend of mine in Mission Control today who said the mood was very somber in Mission Control. Sadness, you said bittersweet earlier, and I think that probably sums it up. A lot of disappointed people that the shuttle program's coming to an end, and of course, a lot of these people are losing their jobs along with it. So everybody's happy the mission's going well, but at the same time, it's tempered with the sadness of knowing that this is it. When Atlantis lands, the program's going to be over after 30 years.
We've learned how important that heat shield is from disaster in the past when it comes to getting those astronauts home safely. During the heat inspection, or during that inspection today, when it came to that heat shield, was there any damage found?
Well, you know, they also started looking at this a couple of days ago, looking at the nose cap and the wing leading edge panels. They see the most heat during reentry, and then during the final approach to the station yesterday, they looked at the bottom of the orbiter. So far, nobody's seen anything significant. It's going to take a couple of days to go through the imagery, make absolutely sure, but they told the crew before they went to bed last night that they don't see anything, and they don't think they'll need to do any special inspections.
NASA monitoring a piece of space junk right now that could come dangerously close to the International Space Station sometime this week. Is this something routine, or is this something we should be worried about?
Well, it's a little bit of both. You know, space debris is an ongoing threat to the space station and really any spacecraft in low Earth orbit. When you realize everything's moving around at about 5 miles per second, you don't want to be hit by anything. They track debris. I guess about a half dozen incidents have taken place over the last couple of years. In this case, it's too soon to say whether this debris might pose a threat. It's a piece of junk from an old Russian military satellite that was launched way back in 1970. And right now the projections show it could come fairly close to the station on Tuesday. But we don't know that yet. They're going to have to track it a little bit more and decide if they need to do anything. They have time, however. If it looks like it really is going to be close, they can simply move out of the way using the thrusters on the space shuttle. So I don't think anybody's too concerned about it, but they're paying close attention, obviously.
In the meantime, though, of course, the mission continues. What's planned for the members of the International Space Station in the days to come?
Well, you know, the real big item on the agenda today is to move a large cargo module from the shuttle over to the station so the crews can start unloading more than 4 tons of equipment in that module, as well as another ton that's in the shuttle cabin itself. It's going to take them about a week to get all this unloaded. As you said at the top, the goal is to provision the station, put enough supplies on board to keep the 6-person crew going for a full year next year, while NASA develops commercial cargo ships to take over from the shuttle. So it's really kind of an insurance policy. They're trying to get as much on board as they can now in case these commercial companies building these new unmanned ships run into problems. Astronauts are going to have their hands full. A lot of stuff to move around. It's going to take several days to get it done. Which
may lead to this next question. Of course, this mission right now is scheduled for 12 days. They could be adding one more, making it a 13th. Why? Is that the reason?
No, you know, it's one thing to get the equipment off of the cargo module into the station. They also want to fill it back up with trash and no longer needed equipment on the station to bring it back to Earth. You know, crowding and the space available on the station becomes a big issue after a while. By getting an extra day in space, they'll have more time to fill that module completely up before the shuttle departs.
All right. CBS News space consultant Bill Harwood, I know you'll be keeping an eye on things over the next several days. Of course, good to see you this morning as always, and thank you so much.
My pleasure.